Hello everyone, a Dvar Torah for you to take with you the Shabbos. The Torah divides our mitzvos into two main camps. There's the mitzvos we call mishpatim, which basically means mitzvos that we understand. The understanding of them is apparent, like don't steal, don't kill, honor your parents. And then there's a whole separate category of mitzvos that are called chukim, where the reason for them is not clear. In other words, if somebody would see you wearing tzitzis, they would wonder, why does he have strings on his clothing? Or if he sees you wearing tefillin, he wouldn't know why there are boxes on your head and on your arm. If you tell them that you can't eat certain salads and certain meats, he would ask you why. The laws of kosher, the reasons are not apparent. And Chazal tell us in many places that the other nations mock the Jewish people for keeping chukim because it seems like we're doing things that are ridiculous. They don't make sense. They have no purpose. Why would you do them? Now, we know the reasons for tzitzis. We know the reasons for tefillin. According to some opinions, we know the reasons for kosher. But on the surface level, they seem to not have any purpose. And the other nations make fun of us for them because we're doing things which don't make sense. So it's interesting that in this week's parsha, Moshe urges the Jewish people to keep specifically the chukim, those mitzvahs which have no apparent understanding, because, says Moshe Rabbeinu, when you do these chukim, you will be viewed as wise in the eyes of the other nation. This seems to be the opposite of what Chazal say. Chazal say that the other nations mock us for doing these things, and Moshe Rabbeinu is urging us to keep them because it'll make us look wise in the eyes of the other nations. So how do you resolve the two? So the Ran, one of the later Rishonim, writes in his drashos that imagine you have a sick patient, and doctors come in and they try all the usual protocols, the usual treatments for this patient, and their treatments don't work. And then comes in a different doctor, and he says, "Oh, you know what? If I use this medicine and to offset this hormone, and I use this other thing to offset this, thinking out of the box, but working within practical, tried and true medicine, I think it'll work." And then he tries it and it works. So all the doctors will give him respect. Wow, that's a high level medicine. We didn't think about that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about connecting using this medicine, this operation, this procedure, etc. So when the doctor would practice standard medicine just at an elevated level, the doctors would respect him. Now, says the Ran, imagine that instead of that doctor who walked in a different doctor, and he said, what's wrong with the patient? And then he started doing things that the doctors had no clue what he was doing. He started saying certain things, and he started walking around, and he put some green stones on him, and he put some strings on his clothes, and then all of a sudden the patient got better. He did things which the other doctors had no understanding of, but it worked. His treatments worked. So says the Ran, this doctor, the second doctor, is going to be respected much more by the regular doctors because he did things that they have no understanding of, and it worked. Listen, they'll recognize he's on a totally different plane of understanding of the human being and the sicknesses. So says the Ran the same thing, that when the Jewish people, if they would just keep the mishpatim, and they would do it at a sophisticated level, so the other nations would say, wow, look, these people are really doing it right. They're doing what they should be, so it makes sense that they're a godly nation. But when they see us doing things that make absolutely no sense to them, why would they do those things? That's so strange. And yet, it seems like it's working at an incredible level because we have tremendous providence from Hashem. Hashem takes care of us, He protects us, He guides us. So then there's an ultimate level of respect from the non-Jews because they recognize that our wisdom is on a totally different plane than theirs. So therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu urges the Jewish people, keep the chukim, because when you keep the chukim with sincerity, you will have the providence of Hashem, and all the nations will say, what a wise and holy nation. Have a great Shabbos.